talking about mindset. So we did hear that it's something that's kind of needed. I think unless you guys make the time for yourself, or meditate, or pray, all those kind of things, it's really, really easy to have some negative thoughts to take over. And we know that mindset is so important that if you do have some negative thoughts, it's going to affect your business, it's going to affect your family, your health. So important. So I really appreciate you guys that came on Monday. We did have some people missing, so I think it's important we kind of briefly go over this stuff again. But just remember that what you think you become. So if you're waking up and you're thinking in like this, limited mindset where you think, if I don't get this customer, someone's going to steal it from me, and they're going to make the money and not me, or Remax is going to take it and they're going to have all the business. Like if you start thinking those ways, it's just thinking scarcity. So especially a big part of being a team is that you guys have to start thinking about growth. You have to think abundance. You have to think there's so much business out there. And when I first moved to the area and I was just starting to get to know, Manatee County and Sarasota County, and I was so shocked by how many licensed agents there were. So at first I got scared. I was like, oh, 50,000 agents that just right here in this little community, how am I going to compete? How am I going to, survive in this business? And that's kind of the first step. We're always thinking about our own survival. That's how animals live every day, right? Survival is number one. But because we're human beings and that we have the ability to grow and to help others grow, because we're in a relationship world here, it's not just all about us, right? We got to give back and care about others too. Oh, I might have somebody not muted. You guys don't mind muting your background. Can you help me with that, Bree? Maybe you can do that. Okay. So if you guys just always want to just keep thinking abundance. So it's very easy to live in fear. It's very easy to think scarcity. That's the first level, the first tier that we have to overcome. So with scarcity mentality, it's people that see life as a finite pie. If one person gets a big piece, it leaves less for everyone else. So what helped me in my story when I first moved here is I started just running from the MLS. How many houses closed in the last 30 days? And then I said, how many houses closed in the last 12 months? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, holy cow, it was like $3 billion of real estate per month in our county. And I went, wow, okay. So I'm thinking that, there's only a couple deals, couple scraps that I can pick up. And then I started to see that there's abundance. There's so much business out there that I really have to manage my time properly, but never think in a fearful mindset. So that scarcity mindset is going to think limitation instead of opportunity. So it makes a really, really big difference in the way that you work as a team, the way that you work in your own family and your home life. If you're worried about, don't eat the last pizza because that's the last piece that we're going to have for the next year. It's a very different feeling. So we just want to make sure that you guys focus on your mindset, work on your mindset, because it really does make a big difference in who you become. So here's the stages. So this was super beneficial to me. I used to actually on my desk back in the office, my little calendar, I'd always write out these little staircases because everyone is in different stages of their life, right? So even in our own team, people are in different stages. So the first stage is that survival. So we call it your lizard brain. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. You're in survival mode. So that's the scarcity mode. That's when you're just trying to make enough money to pay the bills. You just want to keep a roof over your head. You got to eat, for dinner. So everyone kind of starts at that stage. Some people are lucky not to, but for this purpose, it's really survival's number one. Then stage two is now into growth. So how do I grow? How do I get better? I don't want to just pay the bills. I don't want to be a slave to, paying my mortgage every month. I actually want growth. So I want to have a savings account. I want a 401k. I want to start buying investment properties, whatever that growth plan looks like for you guys. Then you really start to see things take off. So that's where you start building like net worth. So I think I've shared with you before, I have an app that I use that tracks your net worth. And another thing that Tony Robbins talked about. So you always want to be getting to that next stage of your life. Then you want to start sharing your knowledge. So what I love about EXP and the culture that they have, it's all about sharing. It's like, all right, so these are those things that worked for me in my business, got me to this certain point. Now I want to share that with you. And I want to help you and your family grow. So then it starts to grow exponentially. EXP actually stands for exponential. So if you guys have not used your EXP Enterprise app, please do. It's really amazing. It shows you who all your mentors in your line, in your tree, that you can reach out to, that you can get help from. You can say, hey, Mike Gerbic is a coach for Jen. I wonder if he'd be able to help me in my business. And you could reach out to him. He would love to do that. We were at the gym today with him, so we invited him to Thursday if you guys are available to do the Thursday EXP networking event. But you got to start thinking about, other people. If it's just about us and we live in this little bubble, there's only so far we can go in life. So if you're wanting a very successful life, you're wanting a big life, you want to have impact, you want to share with others, you want to grow, you want to help people, then you're in the right place, because that's really the culture of our team. That's the culture of EXP. So I want to share a quick video with you guys. Tony Robbins was my first mentor and coach that really taught me mindset. And I realized that when I was, raised by my family, that's where you get all your original habits from, right? You don't even realize that those are your habits, but they become your experience. They become your life. And I had to break free of that because some of the things were not serving me in my life. So I had to go find a mentor. So Tony Robbins was one of the first ones that I found. So even if you guys listen to these, YouTube is free. You can listen to any sort of coach, that's out there. Give it 5 minutes every morning, and it's really going to shift the way that you guys think. So hopefully this will play for you guys.
Everything in our life is controlled by 3 decisions. And I think one of the most powerful things we could do to serve you is have you become clear of what the controlling force is that's controlling the quality of your life. And you and I both know it's not the amount of money in your pocket. It's not who you know. It's not even what you've been through. It's really the decisions you make moment to moment about a couple of different things. And the 3 decisions I made in that moment that I'd like to pull your attention to just real quick are, in this moment you're making these 3 decisions, by the way. The first one is, what are you going to focus on? And whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. In fact, many of us in this room, who's ever focused on something, you were thinking something horrible was going to happen, you experienced the pain of that failure or that challenge in your life, and then it never ever happened. Who's had this experience? Say, I. And if things aren't bad in your life, you can always think of shit that hasn't even happened yet and feel bad in advance. Because whatever you focus on, you'll feel. Focus equals feeling, because if you start to take control of your focus, you take control of your life. And the second decision you make is, what does it mean? As soon as you look at something, think about something, focus on it, you gotta decide, what does this mean? Is this the beginning or the end? Is this punishment and reward? Is God trying to hurt me or trying to challenge me? Or is this nothing to do with God? I was just being a lazy bastard. Right? The meanings we give to things control our life. If you think it's the end of a relationship, are you going to behave the same way as you think it's the beginning of a relationship? In the beginning of a relationship, when you're totally in love with someone, what will you do for them? Tell me, what will you do? So when you have the meaning that this is the beginning of the relationship and this person's the most incredible thing, and you will do what for them? What will you do? Anything. When you're in that place, you do anything in the beginning of a relationship. In the beginning of a relationship, if your partner said, would you take out the trash? But after about 7 days or 7 weeks or 7 months or 7 years or 70 years, one day someone said, would you take out the trash? You go, what do I look like, your janitor? You go, what happened to our passion? I'll give you a clue. If you want a relationship to last, if you think it's coming to the end, do what you did in the beginning and there won't be an end. Because when you think it's the beginning, you behave differently than the end. The meaning we associate to things controls our entire lives. Now when you come up with a meaning, it produces an emotion. And if you and I want to look at the quality of our life, there's only a way to define it. One way really, that's real. How do you feel every day? If every day of your life you got $1 billion and every day you feel guilty or angry, by the way, nothing worse than an angry rich man or woman, isn't there? You just want to slap them, don't you? How do you have the right to be angry? But they find a way. But if you got $1 billion and you're angry and you're pissed off and you're guilty all the time, what is the quality of your life? You can be miserable no matter what you have, and you can be euphoric having nothing. We all know it's true. In fact, is it possible to learn to let, for example, all hell could be breaking loose around you, and you could just be sitting in a chair in this centered space, all hell breaking loose, and you could still feel great? Is that possible? Yes or no? Yes or no? Sure, but you and I live in a Western culture where if you sit and bliss out, people come and take your furniture. So we have to be good at not only controlling the internal world, but our external world. And that's shaped by what we do. And what people do is based on their emotions and also their role models. So I thank you, Mark, and I thank all of you that are role models for people, where you show people that success does not mean taking, that success can mean truly growing and giving. That money, resources, and opportunity are things to be shared. They're things that are tools for a quality of life that you're able to enhance for people and for yourself and your family. Pretty beautiful thing.
What does it take to develop a rich mindset?
So Tony, if you guys don't listen to Tony, haven't heard his stuff, he's been around for a very long time. I'm sure most of you are familiar with him, but he just has such a unique way of looking at life. And he always talks about how, the secret to living is giving. So the minute that you have more than enough, when you're thinking abundant, then you feel like you have enough to give. So there's lots of times if you guys have any charities or anything that you believe in. I know Ivy had a really great charity that she helps and supports. So if you have something that you feel like you have enough to give to other people. The minute you start thinking scarcity, then you can't even survive yourself. You're still trying to feed your family, you're in survival scarcity mode. But the minute, even if you give up a little something, you give up time, you give up, I don't care if it's one free meal to somebody that's in need. Could be something really small, but the minute you do that, it starts shifting your mind to think that there's more than enough out there. So we see this sometimes, even something as small as in our business, because we're in the real estate business. A lead comes in, and one comment that I heard on the team is that maybe you live in Tampa and you're getting a lead down in Northport, and you're like, well, I don't want to give that to someone else. I got to hold on to that. I'll just drive all the way to Northport. To me, that's thinking like scarcity. If we get a lead that's all the way in Orlando, I don't want you guys driving to Orlando because I think abundance, right? We want to build the business where we live, where it's convenient, where we're going to grow, versus having to go get that one lead. It's easier to just refer it. Let's refer it to somebody out there because that's really thinking from that abundance mindset. There's one other quick video I wanted to play here, and he talks a lot about the sharing of ideas. Oh, it's really good.
You've been both poor financially and rich financially. What do you think it takes to develop a rich mindset?
That is such a great question, because people don't understand how important that question is. People say to me, James, I need to make a quick $10,000 really fast. What should I do this weekend? That's not that's not a reasonable question, and there's no answer to that. But mindset is, and it almost sounds like cliche, so I'll get it more practical, but there's so many aspects of mindset, but you have to realize that money is not, how should I put this? Money is not something you get so you can spend it. Money is a symptom of having a good growth mindset, not a scarcity mindset. So having an abundance mindset. So for instance, this is just an example, but I write down ideas every day. I write down 10 ideas a day, and often I write down ideas for other people. I might write down, 10 ideas for Google, and I'll send them to Google. And as a result, I've been invited to visit, and I visited Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Quora, Twitter. I visited all these companies because I share ideas with them. Do you know who Charlemagne the God is from the Breakfast Club?
Great guy.
So I once sent him a list during the pandemic. I sent him, hey man, I heard this recent interview you did with Joe Biden, and there was something you said there that really intrigued me. And so I outlined, just for the fun of it, I sent him an outline of a book I felt he should write. And I said, just ignore this note or do it. I don't care. And he did it, and he wanted to involve me. And I said, no, just do it. You should do this book. And what circumstances happened that I ended up doing it with him, but I really was fine if he had just done it. And people ask me, aren't you afraid of sharing your ideas? Won't people steal your ideas? And yes, sometimes. I once shared an investment idea with a billionaire guy who said he would do it with me, and then he didn't, and he made literally hundreds of millions using this idea. And he called me 2 weeks later and said, oh, it turns out I already did it. And I'm like, how did you already do it when you didn't even hear about it when I told you it? But people steal ideas. But I have an abundance mindset. It's not like this is my only idea ever. I'm going to if it was verification that I had good ideas, the fact that he stole it and it worked. So you have to have an abundance mindset about everything. Like some people say, oh, don't have the Starbucks for $7 when you could get on the corner for $1. Now, admittedly, some people can afford the $7, but that's, a different category. They shouldn't spend the $7. But in general, most working people can go out and buy a hardcover book, or can get economy premium when they fly instead of just economy. But they're worried about the extra $30, and they figure, oh no, if I saving is the same as making. And that's not true, because you can't, you can make more than 100% of your net worth, but you can only save 100% of your net worth. So it's very different from making money. And so money is just an energy of having good creative ideas, sharing your ideas widely, helping other people execute on their ideas, and then wealth and abundance come back naturally, as cliche as that sounds. Now, you have to have.
So I really like this, and this is just one of them for Tony Robbins. But if you guys go on YouTube, they have so many really great motivational things, top leaders, top business owners. And so this had a couple different interviews that I really connected with. So I wanted to share that with you guys. But it's even, we think about the sharing of ideas, because an idea is so valuable. So if you think about when I first starting in real estate, being an agent myself, I saw the struggles, I had the struggles, I lived it, I breathed it. It was really difficult, and it led me to try to find something better. I could have given up. I could have said, maybe I'll just go back to corporate America. I know I can go get a job in healthcare. I gave it a shot in real estate. Didn't work for me. That's the easy way out, right? Talk yourself into just going backwards. But instead I said, you know what? I really enjoy this. I really feel like I'm on this path for a reason. I want to learn. So instead of just backing up, I leaned in and I said, I'm committing full to this. I'm not going to just put my toe in the water. I'm going to commit. I'm going to make this work. And especially meeting Jerry and moving across the state, that's pretty scary, starting as an agent in a new place. So it led me to find answers. I was out there searching. I said, okay, I got to meet a coach. So Tony Robbins was my first coach. I happened to be at a Tony Robbins seminar. Jerry and I flew to, I think we were in New Jersey, Atlantic City. And Craig Proctor, who was another real estate coach, just happens to come on stage. So Tony led me to Craig. And then learning a lot from Craig, all it was about was sharing knowledge. Like, here's best practices. Here's things that work for me in my business in New Jersey that'll work for you in Florida. So I, embraced all of that, and all that coaching and training was very, very expensive, which you guys, I'm sure, are aware. If you've tried to hire Tom Ferry or any coaches, they're not cheap, because they're sharing something of knowledge that's going to help make a lot of money for you. So I trusted those systems. And then that led me to my next level. So I met, Blake, who introduced me to EXP, who's introduced me to Mike Gervich. So it continues to grow, but it's because of having that abundance mindset. So instead of living in fear, I'm like, what next? What more can I learn? So there's different skills in being an agent yourself and having to learn how to sell real estate, and then being a leader. Like, then I started doing some coaching. That was a totally different skill I didn't have. I had to get better at it, and I had to learn, I had to practice, and I had to read and study, and a lot comes with that. But it's all about, I don't want to just become a good agent like most agents do. They work till they're 70 years old, some older, but they work for a long time, and they have a skill, and they just keep doing it for themselves. But they never want to share that knowledge. They're so afraid someone's going to take that knowledge and steal from them, or they're going to take it and they're going to, take advantage of them. They're going to take that listing because now I've shown them how to get listings. So many people live in fear that they're never going to experience the real purpose of life, which is to now share those skills with other people. So my mission, my goal, I know a lot of you guys know me personally, is that I want to avoid that for you guys. I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to come into this and have pitfalls that I can help you avoid. So our entire business model, the reason that I've created a team, the reason that we're building this, is because I want to be able to exponentially help others. So I want you guys to have that same mindset. So sometimes people come into the team thinking, okay, what can I take for myself? Okay, what about me? What about me? What about me? And it's just the opposite of the reason that we're here. And it's the opposite of EXP. If you guys get the chance to go to any event that they do, they have one in Orlando, it's pretty close by, you'll start to feel that culture. It's a different, it's not about me, it's about we. So if we use different language, I know we were talking on Monday about like people sharing posts online. So Crystal Golm, we give a lot of business to, obviously. She was sharing something online like, oh, thank you to my great team. We helped 12 families this week. And what I didn't like about that is that it was all about me. It was her and her team. So it would have taken her 2 more seconds to say thank you to the Jennifer Kenna home selling team. Thank you, Robert Crane. Thank you, Christine. She could have given some love to the team, and she didn't. And it rubbed me the wrong way because she's thinking me while we're thinking team. So if we're not in alignment in the way that we're wanting to grow and build our businesses, someone who's grateful and appreciative and realizes it's not that she went out and earned this business, we went out and earned the business, right? So something as small as that, but for me, it just shows that we're not on the same page. We're not thinking the same way. We're not thinking exponentially. We're thinking scarcity. So I love Christine does a great job at this. Robert does a great job at this. All their social media, it's like they're talking about their team. They're saying, we did this together. Thank you so much. Shout out to Bree for helping. Shout out to Hannah for taking care of this. My title company was amazing. My lender made it happen. Thank you, Jen, for your coaching. Like now we're working as a team. And what you'll start to see is if you think bigger, and it's not just about you, there's lots of realtors out there, if you're on Facebook, that go, oh, look at me, and they're brag, 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 brag. I'm so amazing. Look what I did. Look what I did. Well, that's actually a turnoff. I don't know if you guys like seeing those posts, but you go, yeah, good for you. Right? Like, oh, bless their heart. Like it's not a good, warm feeling. But if someone comes on and says, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful and thankful, and look at these people that helped me get me here. You know, my mom helped me, my dad helped me, and they're this very grateful, thankful post. Now it's valuable. You read it and go, wow, that's really awesome. That's a cool person I look up to. So it's going to attract more people to you by giving credit where credit's due. So if you want to be the solo agent that, well, yes, I'm the big time and look at how awesome I am, that's great. But if you come from a different point of view where you're saying we and our team, what you're going to start to notice is you're going to attract people. So Christine has all these agents that keep reaching out to her because she's sharing team. She does hashtag Jennifer Kenna Selling Team. Thanks so much. Couldn't have done it without you guys. We did this as a team, as a network, able to serve more families. She comes from such a grateful place. And she talks about the team, more people reach out to her. So she just had another one this week that goes, oh my gosh, what is this team you keep talking about? Tell me more about that. She's so excited when she was at an open house. There's an agent that I think a Michael Saunders agent was like, tell me about that. What's this team stuff about? So if she were to come from a place of, I'm so great, Christine, I am the best, it turns people off. If you come from, we're so great, it comes from a very abundant mindset. It really attracts people because people want for themselves too, right? Of course, they want to be a part of something and they want to join something. They want to feel good about it. But if it's just about me, that's not for sharing, right? So I never assume that anything that's happened in my life is not because of my parents who got me to where I am, or my husband who supports me and he's there for me all the time, and my kids who've given me a reason and a mission and a why. So just keep thinking that way. It's going to give you a full balanced life in general. You got to appreciate the people around you and give gratitude, but then don't be afraid to help others. So if somebody reaches out on the team, says, oh, I'm a new agent, I need help with something, and you're going, I don't want to help that person. I want to share my knowledge, or I don't want to share this lead. It's my lead, not your lead. You know, you're not thinking for the greater good of the group. So we just keep practicing it. I get it. Survival is important. You have to make sure you can feed your family. Yes, absolutely. But I want you to think longer term than that. You know, it's not the one client. It's who are the 100 families that I can help over the next 10 years. So if I give back to the team, I give back to this agent, I give back to this Michael Saunders person who needs help and support, now we're building something that's worthwhile, that's going to last, and it's going to grow exponentially. So there's an energy to that, but it first starts with your mindset. Any questions, any feedback? Have you guys experienced this in your own lives, your own businesses? Anything you want to share?
I was just going to add, I've noticed Cassandra doing that on Facebook a lot too.
Awesome.
There's a lot of team talk happening.
Love it. Appreciate that, guys.
Anybody feel like they need help with mindset right now?
I don't think it's so much as help for me. I just think it's nice to have that constant, like doing something like this helps my mind stay back on track with that. And so, you know, I appreciate all of this and all the information that you provide. Does really help keep my mindset on track. So I appreciate it.
I agree. It's definitely stuff like this makes me super motivated. I love it.
Awesome.
So I agree with that. It definitely helps to remind us that we are working together as a team. We're not trying to take for ourselves only, and it's good because I know that I did come from a scarcity mentality that had to be broken, and seeing that this group is focused on that team efforts, not me, myself, and I, it's a beautiful thing. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone struggling with this? I know it's hard. I think it's a discipline you kind of have to practice daily. At least I do. I don't know if it's a woman thing or what, but I worry all the time. So I'm up at 2 a.m. worrying. And this is the only thing that really settles my mind, is just keep reminding myself the bigger mission. And by helping somebody else, as much as it seems like you're helping them, I think I just told, who was I talking to? Someone on Monday. But I was saying as much as like she's mentoring someone. And I said, as much as it's helping that mentor, it actually helps you as well. Because when you have to coach and train someone else, you don't even realize how much you're learning and how much it's benefiting you as well. So it's a win-win for both people. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys all helping each other.
Yeah,
Lots
you're
of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jennifer, I like the way you said it because it's like a refresher. Like, when I first came in, I felt like, okay, I told someone I was talking to, like, I felt like I had to go to YouTube University for everything. So now when I'm training somebody else, it's like, okay, it's actually a refresher. This is like how I was when I first started, which is good because sometimes we be so deep in the weeds, we forget stuff. And I love the fact that I'm helping somebody, but it's also helping me as well.
Yes. Yeah, it really does. It's almost like it reaffirms, and then it also reminds you how much you know. Sometimes
Right.
we've learned so much that we don't even appreciate what we've been through to get to where we are.
Right.
Well, that's amazing. So yeah, just helping somebody, and then it's fulfilling. I mean, it feels good too, right? It almost feels like the struggle was worth it.
Yes.
No, it's pretty awesome. I used to do some women's group stuff when I first not to get into this, but when I first got divorced, it was such a terrible experience. And I'm like, man, like I just don't know how people go through this. It's so emotional and it's terrible. So I started going to these women's groups and I was just helping all these other women. And I was like, it helped me get over it. Like had I not been able to talk about it and help others, I kind of feel like I would have had a hard time, moving on or getting remarried. So I just feel like it's personal, but it's also it ends up giving back to you just as much as it gives to those other people you're helping. No, well, I
Hi,
appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
this is Kia. I was
Yeah.
talking but didn't realize I was on mute. But I just wanted to say, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't know this, but Ivy was the main person that helped me literally pass my exam. And ever since I've joined the team, I've gotten a lot of help from a lot of people, but I feel like Ivy has really like majorly contributed to everything that I've done up until this point. And I felt like at one time, I felt like I had a scarcity mentality because I've always been the type of person that has gave. And I felt like, okay, maybe I'm giving too much because I feel like I'm not receiving it. And so just literally within the last couple months or so, when I passed my exam and then I was reconnected with Ivy, it's like, okay, maybe, Lord, you're telling me it was a mindset switch that you needed to have changed, but also too, now that I've partnered you back with Ivy and with this team, it's like, okay, what you were doing was right, but you just had to see, like it's a time and a place for it. And so I feel like now I'm totally connected. And I really look forward to boot camp next week. And I'm just ready to take off. And I feel like I'm so thankful to be a part of this team. And I'm in the perfect place to be able to do that.
Love that. Awesome.
Aw.
Yeah, so there was you and I that was talking about Ivy and just how just having one person to just support you. I mean, it could
Yes.
change in someone's life. It's pretty
Hmm.
no, and that's what I like to see because I feel like that's the reason I wanted a team is I wanted to help one person. And then when I'm seeing this growth, like just by helping one person now is helping someone else and helping someone else, I'm like, that's real impact. So it's a pretty amazing feeling. So I want you guys to know what our foundation is. This is our, core value as a team and our purpose. So I want you guys to make sure that you're growing that as well. That you're learning the knowledge as you're practicing and learning and with us, especially the boot camp next week. And then you want to tell other people because that's how we're really going to make an impact. And for our mission statement is that we want to create real estate professionals because we're trying to make a difference for all the people out there having these horrible experiences with agents. We're really trying to make a huge difference. So just by having if one agent is able to touch 20 families in a year, not only did you help an agent, you helped 20 people, 21 people. So it's very impactful. So thank you guys so much for hopping on again. If there's a topic that is touching your, heart or something that you're having a difficult time with, please let Bree know and we'll make sure it's a conversation piece. But we tried this on Monday and we did get lots of good feedback. So I don't mind if we do, a motivational Monday or something where we just kind of keep focused, keep positive, keep moving forward because it's just going to make your overall life a lot happier and healthy. So thank you guys so much. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you. And
Have a good
Thanks,
day, everybody.
Jennifer.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye.